Hi, thanks for joining us for another episode of Riverside Monthly. I'm Steve Brazel, joined as always by the mayor for the city of Riverside, Mayor Patricia Lock Dawson. How are you?
Doing very well, Steve. And you?
I'm good. It's good to see you finally after the holidays. It's our first show back here for 2023. And on this segment, we're going to get to know the new city manager for the city of Riverside, Mike Futrell. How are you?
Awesome.
Nice to have you joining us.
Oh, thank you. It's great to be here.
And welcome to the city, by the way. Mayor, you want to get us going?
Oh, absolutely. And you think you're thrilled to have Mike Futrell here. I'm extremely thrilled. So I'm really happy that he chose Riverside, which I think it's a city on the move. Great things are happening here. Mike, I have to tell you, I know you've got can't go into it today. Your resume is long and huge, but you've worked from Louisiana to Hawaii, all different places. So why Riverside? Why'd you choose us?
Riverside's the next big thing. I earnestly believe that, and I want to be a part of that. And it's an awesome city. And I think one whose story deserves to be told on a broader stage. So it is the warmest, friendliest city, frankly, that I've ever lived in. And I lived in Hawaii. But
the Aloha State.
It's just a terrific place. It's on an upward trajectory, and I'm just thrilled to be a part of it.
We are so glad to have you here. You know, correct me if I'm wrong, you've only been here, I think, about 6 weeks?
6 weeks, that's right.
So based on that vast amount of knowledge that you've got, what do you see as far as the strengths and or challenges for the city moving forward?
Well, the list of strengths is much longer than the list of challenges.
That's a good place.
So, you know, the 4 universities here, the growing and vibrant downtown, and the strength of the people here. I'm struck that hashtag I love Riverside, that's real. And everywhere I go, I see that demonstrated. So it's a town that is united in its desire to have an awesome quality of life, and then to rise on the national stage. So just a lot of can-do spirit when it comes to that, but it's coupled with some great industries. We have some centers of excellence and ag tech and tech, medical, aerospace is still big here. We have a lot to grow on. Challenges-wise, I think a lot of it is putting all those pieces together in a cohesive way and a brand that then can tell the nation that this is a city you need to look at, a city where you need to invest, and a city that's on the move. And that is important. We need the capital markets and those that bring those great jobs to notice us. I like to say for Riverside, if we can get the interview, we can get the job. But to get the interview, to get the attention of those capital markets and those big money players that bring those great jobs, we're going to have to get out and sell the city, and we can do that.
I like that line. If we can get the interview, we can get the job.
All right.
Yes.
Yeah, you know why I like him so much. We share a lot of the same priorities, actually, Mike. I think we've talked about a lot of these things. We're very much of the same mindset, but maybe you could just, in a few words, kind of tell us about your roadmap, I guess, for taking the city forward to achieving those priorities. Maybe a little bit about what the priorities are and how you intend to get us there.
Sure, absolutely. And it's really 2 big buckets that are going in parallel. First is we have to complete our recovery from COVID and be a really well-run city with a high quality of life. And that's everything from continuing to work on the problem of the homeless, to getting our roads paved, to getting our parks back up to speed, the medians, getting city staff fully staffed, and create a high-performance team in City Hall that we can get the work done. So that quality of life is important because people will want to live here. We want to keep talent here, keep the jobs here. And if they like a great city and like living in a great city, that'll be easier to do. In parallel with that, it is working with all the stakeholders, the chamber, the various groups, the universities, to determine what are our economic centers of excellence. What are we really good at? And then how can we become the best at that? And underlying that is working on workforce development. Then how do we work with everyone from 5-year-olds in pre-K up through 99-year-old continuous learning. You know, at any given time, we have about 60,000 higher education students in our city. how can we shape that pipeline to create really talented people that love living here? And with that, you attract the better jobs, the higher paying jobs, the kind of jobs we want. So the plan is really twofold. One, we've got to get back to the business of having a really well-run city that we all enjoy a high quality of life at all times. And number two, focus on our future and where we're going to be economically and creating the kind of great jobs so people can stay and continue to love Riverside.
Yeah.
The city manager's office is such an integral part of kind of everything that you described, right? Tying all the resources that we have and assets that we have together with all the different players that are involved and points of view that are involved. If people want to find out more about you, the city manager's office in general, what's the website they can go to?
Well, we've got
Lots of different avenues, right?
Yeah, no kidding, and lots of different social media as well. But city website is riversideca.gov.
Yeah.
That's a great place to start.
And you specifically are riversideca.gov/city manager.
City
so
manager.
People can read about you.
Right. But I'm really accessible. I like being out in the community. I like meeting people face to face. If I get trapped in City Hall all day, I'm not doing my job. So just look for me at a neighborhood meeting near you, and we'll be talking about the same thing, because this is only going to work if we're all on the same page. We build allies, and we agree this is the vision for the city, and we band together, and we'll go make it happen.
Again, I can't say thank you enough for being here. The new city manager for the city of Riverside, Mr. Futrell, thank you so much for joining the city of Riverside and stopping by here today. People are going to confuse us when they see us on the street, right? And wonder, they're going to think I'm you. But thank you for stopping by.
Absolutely. Love being here.
Much
Thanks.
appreciated. Mayor, always good to see you.
You too. Do you think they'll confuse us too?
It could.
They could?
We could. It's perfect.
Introducing Riverside Connect, a ride-share service for Riverside residents with disabilities or who are 60 years old or better. Service is available Monday through Friday from 8 a.m. to 5:30 p.m., and weekends and holidays from 9 a.m. to 4 p.m. Our one-way fares begin as low as $2 each way. Riverside Connect, connecting you to where you want to go. For more information, call 951-687-8080 or visit riv-connect.com.
Second episode actually for this month that we're getting to know somebody new here at the City of Riverside. We're going to get to know our new Economic and Community Development Director a little bit, Jennifer Lilly. How are you?
Good morning. I'm doing great. Thanks for having me today.
It's our pleasure. Welcome to the show.
Well, you know, Jennifer comes to us with this vast amount of experience. She's done, I don't want to say how many years you've been working, but you've got a ton of experience, which I just love, in public-private partnerships, complex mixed-use developments, and affordable housing. And you're also very good, I think, and you have a past experience at engaging the community. So how do you think all that experience comes to bear in advancing our CEDD?
Great. That's a great question. Thanks for asking. I really think what is the common thread throughout my work is the people. And so in all of that, when you mentioned the word partnership, that's what rings most true. And Riverside is so great at developing those partnerships. And so what I'm hopeful I will add is building those bridges and increasing those partnerships as we move forward. In addition, in my past work, I was usually brought in when there was a pretty difficult problem to solve. And so I'm hopeful that all of that learning experience will be able to help us move forward some of our complex issues in Riverside to find new and creative solutions.
It's interesting because the mayor alluded to your private sector work and you with having been brought in to solve certain problems. In the private sector work, my understanding is at least that you oversaw a staff of like 50 planners, somewhere around that vicinity. I'm kind of curious, how does the private sector work and working with staff like that, how does that translate? You know, how does that inform what you're going to do here?
Yeah, that's great. So previously I actually owned my own company, and so at any one time I might have employed up to about 50 people, but I was responsible for hiring, training, mentoring, coaching, and really that was the heart of our business. Again, all about the people. And what we know about Riverside is you already have a great, tremendous staff of technical experts. And so what I'm hoping to bring from the private sector is those skills of training, mentoring, coaching, and really just creating a stable bench so that our residents and our development investors will have predictable outcomes as they go through our process. Also, really encouraging the innovation in that staff and bringing that out. They are leaders themselves. And so how do I help develop those leaders into bringing those solutions forward so that we can create and innovate for our residents and our business community?
Well, and I mean, you've just hired two critical positions. We've just hired a new planner, a new city planner, and a new economic development director. So kind of along those lines, how will filling those really critical positions help our business owners? How will they help our residents? How do you see that coming into play?
That's a great question. So economic development and land use really are cornerstones for Riverside moving into this next phase of reinventing itself or imagining what comes next. And so having these professionals that come with nearly 20 years of experience themselves, vast and diverse backgrounds, bringing their get-to-yes solution-oriented mentality really frees up my time, because I can really trust and invest in these leaders to then take their team to the next level. So it's so great, and they're starting at the same time, so having that synergy of learning the community together and then working together as a team. It's so important to have the regulating side and the economic development side working in tandem. And so having them come on board at the same time, and myself still being fairly new, it's great for us to be coming on board together.
It's interesting because we're talking about planning and land use, and it reminds me, I feel like I should be talking to my wife at this point because that's her background as well. If people want to know more about community economic development departments in the city of Riverside, where can they go?
Well, there's many places, but you can certainly start at riversideca.gov/CEDD. And this is my shameless plug for our general plan update is going to be kicking off this year, and we're going to be doing some major community engagement on that effort. And so you'll be able to start at that website and then engage through our general plan process as well.
Again, thank you so much for being here. We really appreciate it. Jennifer Lilly, the new Community and Economic Development Director for the City of Riverside.
Thank you so much.
And welcome to the city, by the way.
Thank you.
Nice to have you. Mayor, good to see you as well.
You too, Steve, and I'm really thrilled to have Jennifer on board.
It may look peaceful, but there's a storm brewing. A deadly plant disease that can change our landscape forever. Spread by the Asian citrus psyllid Huanglongbing, or HLB, is a death sentence for citrus. The disease is already in our state. Now's the time to inspect your citrus trees and report suspicious symptoms. If HLB is not stopped, all citrus in California is at risk of disappearing. We must act now. Learn how to protect your citrus trees at californiacitrusthreat.org.
We got a great segment lined up for you this time around. We're going to talk about something called Project Connect, which is going to help reduce homelessness among those that are being released from the Robert Presley Detention Center. And our guest this time around, the Housing Authority Manager for the City of Riverside, Michelle Davis. Welcome.
Thank you. It's a pleasure to be here this morning.
It's so nice to have you with us. Mayor, you want to get us going?
I would be happy to, because this is something I'm very passionate about that we kind of launched out of my office. And, one of the biggest things that we try to do to help with our homeless population is to just prevent it in the first place. And one of the populations that often gets overlooked is our formerly incarcerated or people who have served time in our Presley Detention Center, specifically in downtown Riverside. So now Project Connect is really designed to help those coming out of the jail and connecting them with services. And Michelle, why don't you just let folks know how that's going to work?
So we want to make sure that we're meeting folks where they're at. So when we want to first have in-reach within the jail system, so we'll have outreach workers as well as our Office of Homeless Solutions officer go through the background check so that they can do needs assessments within the jail setting so that they can identify who's homeless or who's got risk of being homeless, so that when they're released from the jail, there's a warm handoff to Project Connect, which will be administered by Victory Outreach. They will be able to identify through a needs assessment what individuals need, because there's not a one solution to solve the issue, that everybody has different backgrounds and there's different needs, and we want to be able to make sure that we're able to refer those individuals to the different agencies that can help support us in this program. And then we're also going to be able to identify, are there any gaps and needs within the programming that we can start pulling in and plugging those in as well.
The gaps and needs inside the programming is interesting. I've got two questions actually for you. So Project Connect is going to, help, hopefully at least, increase the chances that somebody that is released from incarceration will make it through that kind of transitionary period, right? Whether it be a hotel or a shelter or whatever that case might be. But also all the way to permanent housing.
Correct.
Right?
Yeah.
I
So
mean,
there will be shelter. There might be opportunities for transitional housing where somebody might need longer than 60 to 90 days for shelter.
Okay.
And so that could be up to 18 months. Or it could then result in obtaining affordable housing, or if there's housing vouchers, linking them up to rental assistance for up to 12 to 24 months, where they're assigned a case manager that helps them do a needs assessment, make sure that they're able to achieve housing stability as well as self-sufficiency. And sometimes it may be just family reunification, trying to get them reconnected with their family. Their family may have moved, and so it's trying to make those connections and looking at what other resources
which then,
we can plug into.
for contrast to that, what would it look like without Project Connect?
If an individual is released and they're homeless, they are released out of the building. The only connection is if they are on probation, they are required to check in at the probation office, and they're provided a voucher to get to that facility. If there is no other resource, they're then let out the front door.
Wow.
And hopefully one of our outreach workers will hopefully encounter them and engage them on the streets.
Now you see why this project
Right.
is so important
Yes,
to me,
exactly.
I think, because, and it's not just the housing, right? It's the connecting them with services, potentially job training, other things, right? So, and that's why we're working with the folks at Victory Outreach. They're the nonprofit partner who's kind of our main group
Experts.
that's doing it for it, right? So why don't you talk a little bit about Victory Outreach and how you're going to be interacting with them to tell folks how that's going to work.
So Victory Outreach, as you know, the jail does release 24 hours a day. So Victory Outreach will be able to engage in individuals when they'll get a call that somebody's being released, and they'll be able to then make that connection. We were able to identify space that they could lease in the downtown area so that they're close to the jail and are quickly able to connect individuals to their office, as well as the other programming needs within the city. So we'll be meeting on a weekly basis with Project Connect. We do our case conferencing meetings to identify what's working, what's not working, so we can address hiccups on the forefront. And then if there's any additional needs that are needed, we can do a call out to our partners. If we don't have a partner that fills that gap, then we'll look internally to say, hey, what is the need? Are there resources available that we can help plug in those needs?
And I think to mention too, Victory Outreach, the folks in there have lived experience, right? Many of them have been incarcerated. Many of them have lived this. They know it. They know what it takes to succeed, and I think that's why they're so key.
And they are actually also going to go through the InReach program, and they're going through their background check right now, so they can also get into the jails before folks are released as well.
See, to me, it's the coordination and communication that makes this work. Such a great program, because again, when you look at the alternative, it's a big change, and it helps people, move on with their life and with their path. If people want to know more, where do they go?
They can go to riverside.ca.gov/homeless solutions, and they can also send an email through that website as well if they'd like to offer volunteer opportunities.
Again, thank you so much for stopping by.
Thank you for having me.
And for that matter, for all that you do. Michelle Davis, the Housing Authority Manager for the City of Riverside. Appreciate having our guest today. And Mayor, always good to see you.
Good to see you too, and thank you, Michelle, one of the hardest working people in City Hall. She's amazing.
And also really good on camera. We need to have you back. Seriously. To everybody, thanks again for watching. We always enjoy you stopping by and checking out Riverside Monthly. Make sure you check out each and every episode this month. I'm Steve Brazel, and we will see you on the next show.